I'm Adam. And I'm Rex. And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Hey, Adam. Remember, all dogs are equal, but some dogs fetch more treats than others. That's a clever twist. But in my classroom, I teach my students that everyone deserves fairness and equal opportunities. In the dog park of life, some pups might have longer leashes than others. True, but just like teaching my students, I believe in advocating for fairness and justice for all, regardless of their differences. That's positively inspiring. But hey, can we agree that in the world of belly rubs, equality reigns supreme? Absolutely, Rex. Equal belly rubs for all our furry friends. In today's book, it's both a biography about Claudette Colvin, the teen whose activism launched the Montgomery bus boycott, and a celebration of collective action. Let's get started. Because Claudette by Tracey Baptiste, illustrated by Tonya Engel. Because 15-year-old Claudette Colvin didn't give up her seat on the bus for a white person on March 2, 1955, she was arrested. Because she was arrested, her parents asked a lawyer named Fred Gray for help. Mr. Gray wanted to know more about Claudette, so he asked fellow activist Rosa Parks to meet with her. Because Mrs. Park was a member of the civil rights group, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP, she invited Claudette to one of their youth meetings. Claudette liked the meetings and kept going. Some nights the meetings ran late. When that happened, Claudette stayed at Mrs. Park's home. Claudette chatted while Mrs. Park sewed, and the two became friends. This was a good thing because Claudette's classmates were upset with her for causing trouble, and Claudette found herself more and more alone. But Claudette wasn't alone. Because she had studied Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass at school, she learned how they worked hard and caused trouble so black people could be treated fairly. That year, Aurelia Browder, Mary Louise Smith, Susan McDonald, and Rosa Parks also caused trouble when they said no to giving up their bus seats. Because of them, Claudette truly wasn't alone. I once accidentally got off the bus at the wrong stop during a field trip. You had a field trip where it didn't just take you to the right place? It made one extra stop and I got off there. A classic case of missing the bus while on the bus. Happens to the best of us, buddy. But tell me, did you ever experience the early bus empty fuss situation? I recall the days when I arrived at the bus stop too early, only to find myself alone waiting for the tardy bus. Time's a tricky thing. But what about the musical chairs on the bus phenomenon? That's a good one. Kids shifting seats like a symphony trying to find the perfect spot. Exactly. People had enough of the unfair bus laws, so many came to Montgomery, Alabama to talk about what they could do. Because the meetings were organized by churches, many preachers came too. One was a relatively unknown young preacher named Martin Luther King Jr. Because Dr. King was an electric speaker, he got people excited to take action. They decided on a bus boycott. Professor Joanne Robinson was ready to organize it. A year before, she had tried and failed to get W.A. Gale, the mayor of Montgomery, to change the bus law. Because churches could pass out flyers on Sunday, the boycott was planned for Monday, December 5th. When the boycott began, many people needed to travel far, so car rides were arranged. Because there were not enough cars for everyone, a lot of people walked. As shoes got worn down, people all over the country sent donations. Because Mayor Gale still refused to change the law, Fred Gray challenged it in court. Because Claudette was impressive and engaging, Mr. Gray asked her to be the final witness on the stand. Claudette was so convincing, the judges ordered a change to the bus law. When the city and state refused to follow that court's orders, the boycott went on for many more months. Have you ever witnessed someone doing a good deed that left a mark? There was this time when one of my students, Lily, noticed a classmate was feeling down, and without hesitation she went over and spent time with him to cheer him up. The power of a kind heart. Actions bark louder than words, right? Exactly. Lily's act of kindness spoke volumes. Have you seen any remarkable deeds lately, Rex? Oh, you bet. I saw a neighbor help another carry groceries. It wasn't a heavy lift, but the gestures spoke volumes about their caring spirit. Indeed, small acts can have big impacts. It's inspiring to witness such kindness in action. Kindness is a language everyone understands, isn't it? It's great to catch someone doing something good. The case then went to the Alabama Supreme Court. Those judges agreed the bus laws needed to be changed. Mayor Gale challenged the ruling again, but the court forced him to comply. Because of that, on December 20th, 1956, the bus boycott ended. Claudette learned about this, like most other people, from reading the morning newspaper. On December 21st, 1956, anyone could sit wherever they liked on the bus. And all of it happened because of Claudette. Author's note. The idea for Because Claudette came from an event to honor Ms. Claudette Colvin in 2019. She had retired and was moving from New York back to Alabama. Fred Gray, her lawyer, spoke about her influence on the Montgomery boycott, saying it might never have happened if it weren't for Claudette. I immediately thought about the many small acts of resistance that often lead to a bigger movement. There are many other acts of resistance that contributed to the Montgomery boycott. The first black-led bus boycott happened in Baton Rouge, Louisiana 2 years before. There were other individuals like Sarah Mae Fleming, who also refused to give up her bus seat in Columbia, South Carolina, on June 22, 1954, the year before Claudette did the same. Movements are made of small individual acts that come together into something bigger. No act of resistance stands alone, and each one matters, no matter how small. Remember the time we shared snacks with squirrels at the park? Oh yeah, the kids really loved that. They learned about sharing and kindness. Indeed, a bone for a squirrel helps make tails swirl. I don't think we gave them bones, but how about when we helped Mrs. Jenkins with her groceries? Pause for a cause brings applause. She was overjoyed. What about the time we cheered up Timmy after his bad day? A wag and a grin make sadness spin. We turned his frown upside down. You're quite the philosopher, Rex. And what's the deal with the rhyming all of a sudden? Just doing my duty. Barks of joy spread the good boy. If this video spread joy to you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm Adam. And I'm Rex. And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Did you know Claudette Colvin was arrested at age 15 for refusing to give up her seat to a white woman on a crowded, segregated bus? In 2021, 66 years after her arrest, her record was expunged,